I'm sure you're all very interested to hear what Andrew Dickson has to tell us. Andrew is with the Canadian Bankers Association. In fact, he's a director of fraud prevention, awareness, and education with the Canadian Bankers Association. In this role, he is responsible for developing and steering campaigns to effectively increase Canadians' awareness on how to prevent, respond, and educate themselves about scam and fraud.
Thank you, Ruth, for having me here today. As you said, I'm Andrew Dickson, Director of Fraud Prevention, Awareness, and Education at the Canadian Bankers Association, or CBA. A little bit about the CBA. We are the voice of more than 60 domestic and foreign banks that help drive Canada's economic growth and prosperity. And today I'm going to talk about fraud and scam prevention resources offered by the CBA and share more about the work we're doing to protect Canadians. So first up, I'll talk about the CBA's Fraud Prevention Toolkit for older adults, which includes a fraud prevention checklist, how to protect against common scams, and I'll also give you some information about our Your Money Seniors program. Second, I'll talk about what your bank will never do. And finally, I'll tell you about the brand new Canadian Anti-Scam Coalition. All right, so first up, our Fraud Prevention Toolkit for older adults. This is a free toolkit. It's available on our website, cba.ca, and it's designed to help you identify scams and take proactive steps to protect your personal information and finances from fraud. So banks in Canada are working around the clock to protect customers from fraud and cybersecurity threats, and also working closely with each other and with bank regulators, law enforcement, and all levels of government to protect our financial system and customers from financial crime. On top of this, there's some simple steps you can take to protect your money and yourself from fraud and scams. So first of all, it contains a fraud prevention checklist. This details 10 practical things you can do now and on an ongoing basis. It includes steps to take to protect your devices, limiting how much information you share online, and simply remembering to shred papers with sensitive information before recycling them. So this is the checklist. I don't have time to go through the detailed checklist today, but I do encourage you to download the toolkit so you can read through it and take action. And as I said, you can see some of the key items here, how to protect your devices, shredding papers, being careful on the phone, strengthening your social media, security and privacy settings. Be careful of free downloads and delete unused apps on your phone. And don't respond to suspicious emails, phone calls, or texts. And be careful on dating apps as well. And the toolkit expands on each of these points with specific information about what you can do now and on an ongoing basis. So the toolkit also contains information against protecting against 8 common scams. I'm going to talk through 3 of these with the red flags you can watch out for and how you can protect yourself. So first up is the bank investigator scam. Jeff gave a good overview of the bank investigator scam earlier, and there's 2 key red flags here. First of all, the caller claims to be a bank investigator or a bank manager or a police investigator, and they explain that the bank is investigating fraud cases that are being committed by staff at the individual's branch or affect you somehow. The caller then asks you to withdraw a large sum of money from their account that will be inspected or kept safe and used as evidence as part of the investigation. The unfortunate reality of this scam is that it preys on an individual's honest desire to help catch a criminal, but ends up turning that person into a victim. So, how can you protect yourself? Luckily, there's a few simple steps you can take to ensure you don't fall prey to this type of fraud. So remember that neither your bank nor a police investigator will ever request you assist in an undercover investigation or ask you to withdraw money from your account. If you receive a suspicious call like that, hang up and report it. Never give out your bank information over the phone unless you have called the bank yourself using a legitimate phone number, like the one on the back of your debit card, and they should ask you questions to verify your identity as well. And it's key to note that it's the one on the back of your debit card, not one that may have been sent to you via email or text. That way you can be sure you're calling the legitimate phone number. And if you do need to withdraw a large sum of money for a legitimate purpose, request a bank draft or money order. And this ensures only the intended recipient is able to access the money. Because criminals don't like to accept these forms of payment because it creates a paper trail that can be used by real investigators to track the fraudsters. And finally, check your bank statement frequently and report any irregularities to your bank as soon as you notice them. The second scam I'll talk about, which we covered earlier, but I think it's important to reiterate, is the grandparent scam. So the first red flag in this is you receive the phone call with someone who starts the conversation along the lines of, "Grandma, do you know who this is?" Right? Thinking it's your grandchild or whoever they say it is, the victims will say, "I know it's you," name of grandchild, right? And that's given them the information they wanted. So the second red flag is the caller then asks for money, pretending they were in a car accident or they're under arrest or they're in jail or in another city or country. And sometimes they'll also put another person on the phone who will act like a police officer, a bail bondsman, or a lawyer to really make that seem convincing. But the aim here is simply to get the victim to withdraw funds and send it to the caller who's impersonating the grandchild, or they could also have it ready at home for a courier to pick up. So how can you protect yourself? Just never offer information to the caller. If they're trying to prompt you with a question like, "Do you know who this is?" you simply say no, and then they have to tell you. You press the caller for details. Because if the person on the other end is explaining their story, ask them questions about their specific location or have them repeat their story. The criminal is going to have a hard time recalling details or coming up with them on the spot. And on top of that, ask the caller a few personal questions that your real grandchild, or whoever they are claiming to be, could answer, but an imposter could not. You could even, if you set this up ahead of time, you could consider a code word with a grandchild in advance they can refer to in a real life urgent situation. And so that way you can feel confident that you are not actually hanging up on the real individual. And then after you hang up, verify the story by calling the parents or other relatives of the grandchild. You may find out they are not anywhere near where the caller claimed they were. And simply never send money to someone under uncertain conditions, or under pressure. Scammers love to use time pressure and urgency. And simply never provide your credit card number over the phone or the internet unless you're really sure about who you're giving it to. All right. And finally, the third scam in the toolkit I'll highlight today is scam online shopping websites and apps. So scammers create websites and apps, and they have a similar look and feel to genuine retailers under intentionally misleading and legitimate sounding names. But these websites and apps are just a front to steal your credit card details and your sensitive personal information. There are some red flags that you can look out for websites. One is the website address. And the address bar at the top of the screen doesn't exactly match the official website. And scammers can change this by just a single character. Say they've put a 0 in the place of an O, and now that is actually a different website. So you should always look at that carefully if you're visiting the website. Often the site can be poorly designed or unprofessional and have broken links. And on that website, you wouldn't be able to find an address or phone number for the business. Or if you do, and you call the business, it's even possible they tell you it's not their website, that the scammers are impersonating the real website, and the business will tell you, "No, that's not our website." All right, so red flags of phony apps. The name of the app publisher. So in an app store, Google Play Store, typically they would say the name of an app publisher under the name of the app itself, but it's close, but it isn't quite right. So it's been someone else has actually created this app. The description in the app store is poorly written or there's no user feedback, there's no reviews. If you do start installing it, it starts asking for a lot of extra permissions and access to things on your device. And then the app also could have a lot of pop-up ads, or you're being asked to enter a lot of personal information. And that's a sure sign that something is wrong. So how can you protect yourself? Simply shop with reputable and trustworthy retailers that have a street address and a working phone number. If you're looking to download a shopping app, visit the retailer's website and look for a link there. Don't just search in the app store. Don't respond to pop-up messages on a website or in the app that ask for your financial information. And then using your credit card and avoiding websites that request payment by strange things like wire transfer, prepaid gift cards, prepaid other cards, cash only, or through third parties. So that's the end of that piece. But finally, I'd like to mention the CBA's Your Money Seniors program. So we offer a free fraud prevention seminar for older adults as part of our Your Money Seniors financial literacy seminar program. This Your Money Seniors is available at no cost and consists of 3 one-hour seminars designed for Canadians 55 and older. These are non-commercial seminars presented by banker volunteers across Canada, and they volunteer their time and expertise in the community, and they cover 3 topics. First of all, fraud prevention, so how to identify and protect yourself from fraud and scams targeted at seniors. They cover financial abuse, what it is and how to avoid it, with an emphasis on avoiding risks associated with power of attorney and joint accounts. And cash management, so how to prepare yourself financially if you're in or nearing retirement. So anyone can request a seminar by visiting cba.ca and searching for Your Money Seniors. That should be the first result you get. We'll give you information about how you can either call phone number or you can fill out an online form, and we can work to set that up for you. So I know that was a lot of information so far. I encourage you to download the toolkit from our website so you can read through it yourself. I want to give you some broad information that will help you spot many kinds of scams, which is what your bank will never do. Because fraudsters often say and do things that a real bank never will. By being aware of what a fraudster might ask, but your bank won't, you can help spot many kinds of scams before they happen and keep your finances safe. So let's look at this list. So first of all, your bank will never ask for sensitive information via email or text. Banks will not request passwords, login credentials, or a one-time passcode you may receive when accessing your account through these channels. Second, they will not threaten you with account closure if you don't act fast. Banks do not threaten to close or lock your account if you don't respond immediately. If you receive an email, text, or call threatening immediate account closure, it's simply a scam. Banks will never make unsolicited calls asking for your personal information. Banks do not call out of the blue asking for sensitive details. Just hang up if you receive a call like this. Banks will not direct you to fake websites. Banks will never send you an email or text with a suspicious link asking you to open it and log into your account. Always check that link, the website address, carefully to ensure you're on the official bank website. As I mentioned earlier, even a single different character can lead to a fake website that looks and seems like it's your real website, but you're really going to be entering your details into the scammer's website. Banks will never ask you to handle overpayments. So banks don't send more than the amount owed to you and then ask you to send back the difference. This is known as the overpayment scam, and they will never do this. They'll never ask for remote access for your computer. This is a favorite technique of scammers as they move through scams. Banks will never ask for remote access to your computer or phone or ask you to install software which could enable remote access. Banks will never request payment for an overdue bill or debt in gift cards. Banks do not ask for payments or fees to be made in gift cards. Bottom line. And finally, banks don't run lottery or prize schemes. Banks don't inform customers of lottery wins or prizes that then require bank details to claim. Finally, my last topic, the Canadian Anti-Scam Coalition. Scammers are manipulating individuals often in moments of vulnerability, and their methods are evolving fast. And despite the significant efforts of many organizations and sectors, we've seen an increase in scam losses over the few years. So recognizing this, the CBA convened a national anti-scam roundtable last summer of 2024, to discuss the growing problem and the need for a collective response. At that roundtable, all agreed that no single organization or sector can tackle this alone. A model was needed built on shared responsibility and coordinated action, and also recognized that this is a problem that was urgently needed to be looked at. From that roundtable, the Canadian Anti-Scam Coalition was born. So what is this? It's a voluntary, public-private initiative spanning financial services, telecom, technology, law enforcement, and government. It's a great example of what's possible when we come together with a common purpose to protect Canadians and disrupt scammers. So the coalition is working now to increase cooperation across sectors to fight scammers and protect you. It's also launching a national anti-scam education and awareness campaign, encouraging Canadians to stand against scams. If you want to see a preview of that campaign, you can visit the website standagainstscams, all one word, .ca, And otherwise, look for it on TV, on the radio, and in digital channels this fall. Oh, I see one question just came in.
Oh, good. Good. If you get a call from your bank, how do you know if it's a scam or not a scam?
Good question. So the easiest way to be sure about this is to thank the caller. You can thank them politely and say you're going to hang up, and then you're going to call the bank back using the number on the back of your debit card, and then you can and then ask, are you trying to reach me? And they will know if they're trying to reach you or not. And they will not. The person who's calling you, if they're a legitimate bank employee, is not going to be upset by this. If they're a scammer, they probably will try to stop you from hanging up and calling back. But yeah, it's simply, if you receive that call, the safest thing to do, because they can spoof caller ID, they can say all the right things, but the best thing you can do is hang up and call back directly, and they will know.
One thing I've heard, Andrew, from different people and sources is that if you get a call and you hang up and you want to call back to another party to make sure that it is a legit call, that we should not use our phone immediately, that we should wait about 5 minutes, because there are gizmos that these crooks have that can trace where we're calling. And if we're giving info, did you call and did you ask for my bank information or whatever information we may be discussing? Is that in fact the case?
I have not heard about the gizmos piece of it, but I do know that one trick scammers use is they can pretend to hang up by simply playing the hang up noise, right? And then playing a dial tone. And then you simply have not actually hang up. So you should be clear that you physically hung up the phone. Press the end button on your device, or if put down the receiver, press the end button, and then you could wait a few moments and then press start a new call again. That way you can be sure that you're not still actually on the line with the scammer. But that is one of the insidious tricks that they do have.